In the quiet town of Millbrook, nestled among rolling green hills, Emma Williams lived a life defined by struggle and hope. At 28, she carried the weight of her family's survival on her slender shoulders. The small cottage they called home stood as a testament to their resilience, paint peeling, windows slightly crooked, but filled with love that no amount of poverty could diminish. Every morning, before the sun had fully risen, Emma would wake up. Her routine was a delicate dance of survival. She'd carefully prepare a simple breakfast of porridge, making sure her aging mother, Margaret, and younger brother, Tom, had enough to eat. Her mother's arthritis made movement difficult, and Tom was still searching for stable work. The kitchen was small but warm, with faded yellow curtains and worn wooden chairs that had seen better days. Emma would kiss her mother's wrinkled cheek, her touch gentle and full of love. "I'll be back later," she would say, her voice soft but determined. Her first job began at the local bakery, where she worked from dawn until early afternoon. The smell of fresh bread and pastries filled the small shop, but Emma had little time to enjoy it. Her hands moved quickly, packaging loaves, serving customers, and cleaning surfaces. Mr. Thompson, the bakery owner, appreciated her hard work and reliable nature. After the bakery, Emma would rush to her second job at the town's cleaning service. She scrubbed floors of local businesses, cleaned offices, and did whatever work was available. Her body ached, but she never complained. Each job was a step closer to her dream of becoming a nurse, a dream that seemed impossibly distant. Tom tried to help where he could. At 23, he was still finding his way, taking odd jobs and supporting the family however possible. Sometimes he would help with household chores or prepare dinner when Emma came home exhausted. Their bond was strong, built on mutual respect and shared struggle. Margaret watched her children with pride. Despite her physical limitations, she remained the emotional anchor of the family. She would often tell Emma, "You're stronger than you." "No?" Her eyes filled with love and hope. These words became Emma's silent motivation. Financial challenges were constant. Some months they barely made enough to pay rent and keep food on the table. Electricity was a luxury they carefully managed. Emma would use library computers to study nursing materials, saving every penny for her future education. The winter was particularly harsh that year. Their cottage felt colder than ever, with drafts sneaking through old window frames. Emma would wear multiple layers, ensuring her mother stayed warm. Tom would collect extra firewood from kind neighbors, their community always ready to support one another. Despite the hardships, Emma found moments of joy. She would sometimes sit with her mother in the small living room, sharing stories and laughter. On rare occasions, when a little extra money came in, they would treat themselves to a special meal or a small gift. Emma's dream of nursing wasn't just about a career. It was about helping people, about making a difference. She had seen how healthcare could transform lives during her mother's medical treatments. Every challenge she faced was a step closer to her goal. Her friends in Millbrook admired her spirit. Local shopkeepers would smile and wave, recognizing her determination. The town seemed to understand and appreciate her silent struggle, her commitment to her family, and her unwavering hope. At night, after completing her jobs and helping her family, Emma would study. Textbooks spread on the kitchen table, a cup of tea cooling beside her, she would read by the soft lamplight. Her mother would often watch her, a proud smile playing on her lips. Tom would sometimes joke, "One day, you'll be a famous nurse and we'll look back at these days and laugh." Emma would smile, knowing that their current struggles were temporary. Her belief in a better future never wavered. As the night settled over Millbrook, the Williams cottage stood quiet. Inside, a family's love, resilience, and hope burned brightly, a beacon of strength against life's challenges. Emma's journey was just beginning, her spirit unbroken, her dreams alive and waiting to be realized. The end universal message: hope is the light that guides us through our darkest moments. The rain came down in steady sheets, drumming against the cottage windows. Emma stared at the community college flyer, her fingers tracing the edges of the scholarship announcement. It felt like a distant dream, a chance to become a nurse that seemed both impossible and tantalizing. Tom noticed her hesitation. "You should apply," he said quietly, breaking the silence of their small kitchen. His own job at the local hardware store had been sporadic, but he had been saving every penny he could. The scholarship was designed for mature students wanting to enter healthcare. It promised not just tuition support, but a potential pathway to a nursing career. Emma's heart raced at the possibility. Her mother, Margaret, watched from her comfortable armchair, her eyes filled with hope and concern. "It means I'd have to cut back on work," Emma said, more to herself than to anyone else. The thought of reducing her income terrified her. Their family balanced on a financial knife edge, and every pound counted. Tom pulled out a small savings box. It was battered, with faded stickers and dents from years of careful saving. "I've been putting money aside," he said, his voice steady. "For emergencies. This is an emergency. Your dream." Margaret reached out and touched her daughter's hand. "You've always been the strongest of us," she whispered. Her arthritis-twisted fingers were gentle, her touch full of maternal love and understanding. The application required more than just basic information. Emma needed to write an essay explaining her motivation. Late that night, after her jobs and family responsibilities, she sat at the kitchen table. The lamp cast a warm glow, illuminating her tired but determined face. She wrote about her mother's health struggles, about watching local nurses who showed compassion beyond medical treatment. She described her dream of making a difference, of helping people during their most vulnerable moments. Each word was a piece of her heart, carefully crafted and honest. The next day, Emma walked to the local library. The computers there were her connection to opportunity. She typed and retyped her application, checking every detail. The librarian, Mrs. Roberts, watched her with kind eyes, offering quiet encouragement. Submitting the application felt like releasing a wish into the universe. Emma tried not to hope too much. She had learned that life rarely gave free passes, that every opportunity came with hard work and sacrifice. Weeks passed. Emma continued her routine: bakery in the morning, cleaning service in the afternoon, caring for her mother in the evening. Tom continued supporting the family, picking up extra shifts whenever possible. Then came the letter. A crisp official envelope that arrived on a grey Tuesday morning. Emma's hands trembled as she opened it, her family watching with bated breath. "Congratulations," the letter began. The world seemed to stop. She had been accepted into the nursing program with partial scholarship support. Tears mixed with laughter as Tom hugged her, and Margaret wiped away her own tears of joy. The scholarship wasn't just financial support, it was validation, it was hope. It was proof that hard work and determination could create opportunities. But acceptance came with challenges. Emma would need to restructure her entire life, reduce work hours, manage study time, support her family while pursuing her dream. The path ahead was uncertain but exciting. Tom immediately began planning. "I'll take more shifts," he said. "We'll make this work." Margaret nodded, her pride in her children evident in her soft smile. The community of Millbrook seemed to rally around Emma. Local shopkeepers offered words of encouragement. Mrs. Roberts from the library promised to help with study resources. Their small town became a network of support. Emma's dream was no longer just a distant hope. It was becoming real, step by careful step. The scholarship was more than money. It was a promise of transformation, of a better future for her entire family. As evening fell, the Williams cottage buzzed with a new energy. Possibility replaced worry. Hope replaced fear. Emma looked at her application, then at her loving family, understanding that this moment was the beginning of something extraordinary. The end. Universal message: when opportunity knocks, courage opens the door. The first day of nursing school arrived like a dream mixed with terror. Emma stood outside the college building, her second-hand textbooks clutched tightly against her chest. The world of professional healthcare looked both exciting and overwhelming. Her first clinical placement was at Millbrook General Hospital, a busy local medical center that seemed to pulse with human stories of pain and hope. Emma's uniform was crisp, but slightly ill-fitting, a reminder of her financial constraints. She looked younger than her 28 years, but her eyes held a determination that spoke of years of struggle. Nurse Thompson, a veteran healthcare professional with silver hair and kind eyes, became Emma's primary supervisor. She watched Emma carefully, sensing something different in this mature student, a resilience that younger students often lacked. The hospital corridors became Emma's new classroom. Long shifts tested her physical and emotional limits. She learned quickly that nursing was more than medical procedures. It was about human connection, compassion, and understanding. Her first challenging patient was Mr. Roberts, an elderly gentleman, recovering from a serious surgery. Grumpy and resistant to treatment, he tested Emma's patience. Where younger nurses might have become frustrated, Emma listened. She discovered his loneliness, his fear of being forgotten by his family. One quiet afternoon, Mr. Roberts shared stories about his life. Emma realized that listening was sometimes the most important part of healing. Her mother's years of teaching, compassion now made perfect sense in this professional setting. Balancing studies, work, and family responsibilities became an intricate dance. Tom helped by managing household chores and supporting their mother. Margaret's health remained a constant concern, adding another layer of complexity to Emma's already challenging life. Nights became a blur of studying, caring, and worrying. Emma would often fall asleep with medical textbooks spread around her, her mind processing complex medical information while her body craved rest. Her first major medical emergency came unexpectedly. An elderly patient went into cardiac distress during her shift. Emma's training kicked in. Her hands moved with a precision that surprised even Nurse Thompson. She assisted the medical team, her calm demeanor a contrast to the chaos around her. "You've got something special," Nurse Thompson told her after the incident. Those words meant more than any grade or academic achievement. Financial pressures continued. Emma reduced her cleaning job hours, which meant less income. Some weeks, meals became simple, bread, soup, whatever they could afford. But hope remained their most valuable resource. The college wasn't just about medical training. Emma learned about healthcare systems, patient rights, and the deeper meaning of care. Each lecture, each practical session added another layer to her understanding of human health and dignity. Tom noticed the changes in his sister. Her confidence grew, her understanding of the world expanded. She was transforming from a struggling young woman into a professional with a clear purpose. Margaret watched her daughter's journey with quiet pride. Despite her physical limitations, she became Emma's strongest supporter. Her stories of resilience became Emma's silent motivation during difficult moments. Challenges came in many forms. Some classmates, younger and from different backgrounds, initially seemed distant. But Emma's genuine nature and hard work slowly broke down those barriers. She wasn't just studying to become a nurse, she was becoming a beacon of hope for those around her. Her first complete medical assessment marked a turning point. Mr. Roberts, once grumpy and resistant, now smiled when Emma entered his room. "You'll be an excellent nurse," he told her, his eyes twinkling with newfound respect. The journey wasn't easy. Some nights Emma would cry silently, overwhelmed by the emotional and physical demands of her new path. But each morning she would rise, straighten her uniform, and face another day with unwavering determination. Her family's sacrifices became her strength. Tom's support, Margaret's love, the community's belief, all of these transformed from personal challenges into professional motivation. As the semester progressed, Emma realized that her struggle was not just about becoming a nurse. It was about proving that with determination, love, and hard work, any dream was possible. The end universal message: challenges are not walls, but stepping stones to your dreams. The hospital corridor stretched before Emma like a long journey of hope and uncertainty. It was a typical Wednesday morning, but something felt different. The air seemed charged with unexpected possibility. Mr. Harold Peterson lay in bed 17, a 72-year-old patient, battling multiple health complications. Most nurses saw him as a challenging case, difficult, often angry, resistant to treatment. But Emma saw something more. During her routine morning check, Emma noticed something the other nurses had missed. Mr. Peterson's breathing seemed slightly irregular. his symptoms suggesting a potential heart complication that hadn't been documented in his initial charts. Her instincts, honed by years of family care and growing medical knowledge, kicked in. She requested additional tests, her voice calm but firm. Nurse Thompson raised an eyebrow, initially skeptical of the young student's observation. Hours passed. The hospital hummed with its usual busy rhythm. Emma continued her duties, but her mind kept returning to Mr. Peterson's condition. She reviewed his medical history, cross-referencing symptoms with her textbooks during her short break. Late that afternoon, everything changed. The additional tests confirmed Emma's suspicions. A minor heart blockage had been developing, which could have led to a major cardiac event if left undetected. Her careful observation potentially saved Mr. Peterson's life. The hospital's senior nursing manager, Margaret Reynolds, heard about the case. She was a stern woman with decades of medical experience, not easily impressed, but Emma's detailed approach and compassionate care caught her attention. "Who is this student?" Margaret asked Nurse Thompson during their evening review meeting. Emma's world seemed to pause when she was called into the manager's office. Her heart raced, wondering if she had done something wrong. Tom had always told her she worried too much, but survival had taught her to be cautious. Margaret's office was filled with medical awards and professional certificates. Emma felt small, her second-hand uniform suddenly feeling more obvious than ever, but her eyes remained steady, meeting the senior manager's gaze. "Your approach with Mr. Peterson was exceptional," Margaret began. She explained how Emma's careful observation had potentially prevented a serious medical incident. The words felt like a dream, but the conversation didn't stop there. Margaret saw something special in Emma, not just medical skill, but genuine human compassion. She offered Emma a sponsored route to complete her full nursing qualification, including financial support for her family. The offer was more than just a professional opportunity. It was a lifeline. Emma's hands trembled as she listened, thinking about her mother's medical bills, Tom's struggle to support their family, her own dream of becoming a qualified nurse. Back home, the news transformed their small cottage. Margaret, her mother, listened with tears in her eyes. Tom hugged his sister, his pride evident in every movement. Their tiny living room suddenly felt larger, filled with hope and possibility. Emma's journey hadn't been easy. Years of working, multiple jobs, supporting her family, studying late into the night. All of these experiences had prepared her for this moment. Her struggle wasn't just personal anymore, it represented hope for countless others. The sponsored qualification meant more than just personal achievement. It represented a pathway for other working-class students who dreamed of healthcare careers but faced financial barriers. Mr. Peterson's recovery became a testament to Emma's potential. When he was discharged, he specifically requested to thank the young nurse who had potentially saved his life. His gratitude was more valuable than any official recognition. Nurse Thompson watched Emma with newfound respect. The initial skepticism had transformed into genuine admiration. "You're going to be an exceptional nurse," she told Emma, her voice warm with professional appreciation. The local community of Millbrook began to hear about Emma's achievement. Local shopkeepers, who had known her family's struggles, now looked at her with renewed respect. Her journey became an inspiration, a reminder that hard work and compassion could create unexpected opportunities. Emma understood that this was more than a personal victory. It was a moment of transformation, for herself, her family, and potentially for other students facing similar challenges. As evening settled over Millbrook, Emma sat with her family, the sponsorship letter in her hands. The weight of possibility felt both exciting and overwhelming. Her dream was no longer just a distant hope, it was becoming a beautiful reality. The end universal message: one moment of compassion can change everything. Graduation day arrived with unexpected beauty. The small town of Millbrook seemed to hold its breath, watching Emma transform from a struggling young woman to a qualified nurse. Her white uniform, crisp and perfect, represented more than just professional achievement. It symbolized years of sacrifice and hope. Margaret sat in the front row, her arthritis-worn hands clutching a handkerchief. Tears of pride rolled down her weathered cheeks. Tom stood beside her, his suit slightly ill-fitting but his smile brighter than the morning sun. Their tiny family had become a beacon of hope for the entire community. Emma's journey wasn't just about personal success. During her final year, she had started a small scholarship fund for local students facing financial challenges. Every penny she could save went into helping others like herself, working-class students with big dreams but limited resources. The ceremony was simple but meaningful. When Emma's name was called, the applause seemed to shake the small community hall. Local shopkeepers, hospital staff and community members who had witnessed her struggle now celebrated her triumph. Mr. Peterson, the patient whose life she had potentially saved, sat in the audience. He had become more than just a patient. He was now a family friend. His presence represented the human connection that made nursing more than just a medical profession. After the ceremony, Emma returned to their small cottage. The room seemed different now, filled with hope, possibility, and the promise of a better future. Margaret hugged her daughter, whispering words of love and pride. "We did this together," Emma told her family, understanding that her achievement was a collective journey. Her first nursing position came at Millbrook General Hospital. The same corridors where she had once been a nervous student now became her professional home. Nurse Thompson, who had initially been skeptical, now became her mentor and friend. Emma's approach to nursing was different. She understood that healing wasn't just about medical procedures. It was about listening, caring, and connecting with patients on a human level. Her own experiences of struggle made her more compassionate, more understanding. The scholarship fund grew. Local businesses began contributing, inspired by Emma's story. What started as a small initiative became a community project. Students, who once thought higher education was impossible, now saw a pathway to their dreams. Tom continued supporting the family, but his role changed. He was no longer just a struggling brother, but a proud supporter of his sister's mission. His own career began to stabilize, bringing additional hope to their family. Margaret's health improved, the stress of financial struggle reduced, and her medical treatments became more consistent. Emma's nursing salary meant they could afford better care, better food, and a more comfortable life. The community of Millbrook watched with pride. Emma became more than just a successful nurse. She became a symbol of hope. Local schools began inviting her to speak, sharing her story of determination and resilience. Her scholarship initiative expanded. By the end of her first year as a qualified nurse, she had helped 5 students begin their healthcare education. Each student represented a dream, a possibility, a future transformed. The tiny cottage that once represented struggle now became a symbol of hope. Family dinners became celebrations of possibility. Tom would joke about their journey. Margaret would share stories of their past, and Emma would dream about future possibilities. Weekends became special. Emma would volunteer at community health clinics, providing care to those who couldn't afford regular medical treatment. Her compassion knew no boundaries, her approach to healthcare rooted in her own experiences of struggle. Local media picked up her story. A documentary was made about her journey, inspiring countless others facing similar challenges. Emma remained humble, understanding that her story was about community, not individual achievement. As years passed, her scholarship fund grew. Students who had once been helped began supporting new generations of healthcare professionals. A cycle of hope and support had been created, transforming lives one student at a time. Margaret watched her daughter with indescribable pride. The little girl who had once struggled to make ends meet had become a beacon of hope, a professional who understood that healthcare was about human connection. Emma's journey proved one fundamental truth. With determination, love, and community support, any dream was possible. The end universal message: your struggles can become your greatest strength, and your story can inspire generations.